People are not, well, we all are going to die. So for heaven's sakes.
I would like to take this opportunity to sincerely apologize. I made an incorrect assumption that everyone in the auditorium understood that, yes, we are all going to perish from this earth.
The question is, are people going to needlessly perish earlier than they need to because of their lack of access to health care due to cuts to Medicaid? That's what the real question is. And in a sarcastic apology video, Iowa Senator Joni Ernst seemed to double down on her flippant response that she gave to her own constituents who are concerned about the impacts of the GOP's cuts to Medicaid in this reconciliation bill that has now made its way to the Senate. Now, as a reminder, frustrated attendees interrupted Ernst as she repeatedly defended the so-called big beautiful bill at a town hall in Iowa just this past Thursday. Now, attendees were rightfully concerned about what the bill means for Medicaid recipients, which are valid concerns considering the fact that the Congressional Budget Office projects that the bill would cause around 10 million Americans to become uninsured. Now, in Iowa specifically, which Ernst represents, about 1 in 5 residents are covered by Medicaid, including half of all nursing home residents, according to estimates from the Kaiser Family Foundation. That's fantastic. It's great news. I'm sure that the tax cuts, which disproportionately benefit the richest among us, will be worth it. Will be totally worth it. Nickel and dime the American people, cut the most vulnerable away from government-run healthcare. Ensure they're uninsured. They won't be able to go see a doctor, won't get the preventative care they need if they're sick. It's probably gonna affect their productiveness at work, wouldn't it? Or productivity at work. But nonetheless, this is what Joni Ernst is defending. And at the same time, essentially mocking her own constituents who have a valid concern here, Cenk.
Okay, but to be fair, I mean, there's a $3.8 trillion tax cut waiting for the rich. I mean, how are they gonna get it if they don't rob the poorest Americans when they most desperately need healthcare for their children? I mean, they gotta rob somebody. They've robbed so much of the middle class almost has nothing left. So now they're going to scrounge up money from the poor. So understand the trap. Medicaid is by definition for the poor. So if they say now you have a work requirement, well, if you go to work, they say you have too much money to have Medicaid. So what's the point of Medicaid? So we have Medicare and Social Security for older people. The rest of the developed world has what we have for Medicare for everyone. It's called universal health care, and they don't let people die in the streets. In America, we do, because the rich need more tax cuts. You know that 76% of Americans are against not only cutting taxes for the rich, but this is amazing. 76% of Americans believe we should raise taxes on the rich. But 98% of Congress thinks, yeah, but they're my donors, so I'm gonna hurt your kids, and if they need health care, they're not gonna get it because I need to feed the rich a little bit more. I need to take money from you guys and stuff it into their mouths because they spit out a little spittle for me. And so these guys are all corrupt. They're deeply, deeply, deeply corrupt. And Joni Ernst, that sarcastic video was over the top, man.
Well, she doesn't like getting confronted. In fact, when she gets confronted, this is how she responds.
Everyone says that Medicaid is being cut. People are gonna see their benefits cut. That's not true. No, go ahead. It's corrections of overpayments and people that have not been eligible for these programs by law as it is currently written. People are not, well, we all are going to die. So for heaven's sakes, folks.
Listen, if Joni Ernst is willing to have her government provided healthcare stripped away from her, she wants to really make a stand here and say we're all gonna die anyway, then all right, okay, then at least she's being consistent. But I find it particularly sick that hardworking American citizens are providing scum like her amazing healthcare when she doesn't even have to work half the year. The rest of the time, all she's doing is fundraising and finding other ways to nickel and dime American citizens. Why are you getting your healthcare provided for? Why? What's the point? A lot of these members of Congress are millionaires themselves. Why don't you buy your own health insurance? Why don't you do that? I mean, you're gonna die anyway. Maybe don't even do that. Maybe go uninsured and see how you like it. I can't stand these scummy politicians and how little they do for their own constituents. They disgust me. Unsurprisingly, she took a lot of heat for that dismissive comment, especially considering the fact that Medicaid expansion literally saves lives. New research finds that Medicaid expansions under the 2010 Affordable Care Act and earlier state waivers reduced mortality among low-income adults by 2.5%, representing a 21% decrease in the mortality hazard for new enrollees, saving about 27,400 lives between 2010 and 2022. An additional 12,800 deaths could have been prevented had all states opted to expand Medicaid. Because after the Affordable Care Act passed, which would provide federal money to states to expand their state Medicaid programs, a bunch of red states are like, nah, we don't want to do it. We enjoy seeing our constituents in our own state go without health insurance. Okay.
So in Justice is Coming, I wrote about how if you're not poor and have Medicaid and you're not rich, you sometimes get stuck in the middle where you have no health insurance. And those people, some percentage of them die. And the number's around 70,000 Americans that die every single year because they don't have health insurance. Now, when you kick off 10 million more people from Medicaid, you're gonna add to that number. You're gonna add probably tens of thousands more that are gonna die because some billionaire needed an extra tax cut, okay? So, and look, for those of you who are fortunate enough to have healthcare and have never gone without healthcare, it's a fact that is so stunning. People outside the country literally can't believe it, and some people inside the country can't believe it. If you break your ankle, yeah, you can go to the emergency room and they'll bankrupt you and they'll take your house, right? But at least you can get it taken care of. But if your daughter has cancer, we just let her die. That's insane. It's barbaric. It's not capitalism, it's corporatism, where giant corporations have taken over and they then give a small proceeds of their profits to the most corrupt people in the country. Those are our politicians. And then those politicians brutalize the rest of us and then make fun of us on top. I wanna go to the whole video of Joni Ernst making more fun of her constituents and laughing about the idea that they might die. So let's go to watch the whole video.
I would like to take this opportunity to sincerely apologize for a statement that I made yesterday at my town hall. See, I was in the process of answering a question that had been asked by an audience member when a woman who was extremely distraught screamed out from the back corner of the auditorium, "People are going to die." And I made an incorrect assumption that everyone in the auditorium understood that, yes, we are all going to perish from this earth. So I apologize. And I'm really, really glad that I did not have to bring up the subject of the tooth fairy as well. But for those that would like to see eternal and everlasting life, I encourage you to embrace my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
You know, Cenk, people like Joni Ernst, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, I mean this. People like Joni Ernst really do make me want to believe in the Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. You wanna know why? Because I genuinely and desperately wanna believe that there is an afterlife in which people like her will burn in hell. And I mean that. Go ahead, take it away.
One of our members on TYT.com, Kelly K, said, Joni Ernst living the teachings of Jesus. F the poor, the sick, and the hungry. You all gonna die, YOLO. What a ghoul, she ends. 100%. Kelly, you're 100% right. And that is what she is. For a second there, I thought she was gonna say, the teachings of my Lord and Savior, Elon Musk. I mean, he needs another tax cut. Not that he really pays taxes most of the years, He has lots of loopholes to get out of paying taxes. But the billionaires pay on average about 8%. You pay way, way, way more than the billionaires do. But Joni Ernst says not enough. So if you're poor in her state and your daughter gets cancer, well, Elon Musk needs more money, so off she goes. Because of her Lord and Savior Jesus, I'm pretty sure that if you read the Bible at all, Jesus is on the opposite side of you. And you should really be deeply ashamed for taking his name in your mouth as you defend the richest people and the money changers that Jesus despised.
Listen, Roosevelt loved capitalism, so much so that he implemented New Deal policies in order to prevent a socialist or communist revolution in the United States. It is a shame that these lawmakers, most of whom are Republicans, but many of whom are also Democrats, aren't smart enough to see what's coming if they continue nickel and diming hardworking Americans, attacking those who are the most vulnerable among us, economically speaking. And by the way, with AI basically taking over jobs already, I don't know what the future holds for this country, for any country, for the lack of jobs that we're gonna experience in this country. And when people get desperate, I'm just saying these politicians do not know what's coming and they are just too dumb to see it.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.